But while winners celebrate a hard-fought election victory, most of the losers continue to rue what they describe as gross violation of electoral rules and poor security of the voting process. We're now being joined from Abuja studio by the Commissioner of Police, Federal Capital Territory, CP Bala Siroma. I would like to thank you so much for joining us on the program and ask, perhaps starting from the Federal Capital Territory, we know the council polls held there as well. But in as much as it did, initially we hear they were inconclusive due to electoral violence in particularly Rubochi as well as Kwaku. And we also heard that on Saturday there was some sort of electoral violence, but they were immediately repelled in Rubochi most especially. Was anyone caught? And we'd like to know why we keep having this recurrence perhaps in that council area.
Well, good afternoon. Yes, there was a rerun election in FCT, which we judged to be relatively peaceful. This was as a result of deployments we made to ensure that law and order is maintained during the rerun elections. However, there were skirmishes in one or two places that you've mentioned. We swiftly moved in and were able to assert ourselves and maintain law and order within those locations. Arrests have been made during this period. Cases are currently being investigated, and as soon as they are concluded, liaison with INEC as usual, suspects will be charged to court.
The whole world knows that the police force gave several guarantees, assurances that they were prepared, and that, but this didn't stop miscreants, elements from disrupting the process. And this is also looking at other states where the supplementary elections held. What do you think went wrong?
Don't you forget that there was a little bit of desperation on the part of politicians, and there was a large conglomeration of party supporters who came out maybe to support the party during this rerun election. But what we did was that we had sufficient deployment, as I said earlier. We were able to deploy, and no area went without being, no issue or skirmish went without being contained.
Would you say that your agency did the best that they could, considering the circumstances? Would you also say that Nigerians have renewed faith in the police force? Or what would you say, you know, we can do to perhaps raise the bar?
I think essentially we will engage members of the public more, most especially politicians. They need to rein in on their supporters to prevent coming out and attempting to disrupt the polls.
We'd like to thank you so much, Mr. Bala Siroma, Commissioner of the FCT, for joining us on the program. Well, let's go over to Benue State. The incumbent governor, Samuel Otom, is also making a return to the government house after defeating his closest rival, the APC candidate Emmanuel Jime. But while Mr. Otom is asking every citizen of the state to join hands with him in restoring peace in the state, Mr. Jime insists it's too early to celebrate, as he will be challenging the result in court.
This victory is for all. I call on all those who contested with me to join me so that together we shall build the Benue of our collective dream. I know that partisan politics is over, now it's about governance. Yes, the platform I secured to become an elected governor of Benue State is People's Democratic Party. But automatically, I have become the governor of all political parties in Benue State. So I expect all to join hands with me. Whatever ideas they had in the course of their aspiration to be governor, let them bring it on the table. We shall work together to add value to the development of Benue State. That is my desire. So please, let us join hands to ensure that we move Benue State forward. As we celebrate, let us us engage in behavior that will promote peace and reconciliation. Avoid use of hurtful and insulting political and folk songs. By the grace of God, I will set up a peace, truth, and reconciliatory committee. This will enable us to find ways to truly forgive one another, reconcile, and usher in peace and development for Benue State.
Well, still to come on the program, we hear from the returning officer at Boko, who was allegedly reportedly shot during the supplementary elections in Benue, plus also a security expert, an observer rather, with regards to the monitoring of the elections. Please join us again.